No, 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 no. Feeling good is not necessarily unwholesome. Feeling good definitely is wholesome, but it's just only we don't know whether we're craving or not. I said that already. When you feel actually feeling good is always, I'm not all the time, but most of the time I carry with wholesome thing. So, but only you know, but we so just like, not sure whether you have craving.
I guess like before you get to the stage of like being able to actually guard your senses, how do you like, you know, like you enjoy the things you enjoy without getting like taken away by it, you know? Does that make sense?
No, I don't. Not sure I understand. Maybe you are very advanced.
No, I just feel like when before you get to the stage of like being able to like guard your senses, like like always aware of like what's going on and stuff. Like, I think maybe like a mistake that I'm making is like, then like, I can't tell if I'm being carried away when something good is happening. I'm happy about it. I can't tell if I'm like having attachment to that or not, which makes me afraid
I understand.
Of.
So if you usually in terms of technical methods, if you don't know that, it's just because your observing or mind is not strong enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you before you?
In other words, meaning we have 4 establishment, right? So 就是四念处嘛, and then your 心念处, your establishment mind is not strong enough that you don't know. Yeah.
So in that case, how do you prevent yourself from being carried away by like by like craving and stuff, like when you enjoy something, like because like typically when you're enjoying something without the wisdom and stuff, like you just get carried away by it.
I think you have to understand this way. I don't know whether you're asking this question as the what do you call top level question, or you're asking as in terms of the practice. In general, in practice, firstly, you don't worry about craving that much, because craving actually it's almost whenever you are not without the awareness or the knowing, what we call the vidya, the understanding, the minna. And whenever you have carried wumin, definitely the craving is there. But still, even though when you are wumin, when you are in that delusion, you still can have the good karma, right? The wholesome action there. That's why sometimes the word we say that you are, when you come to not on the final stage, sometimes you might be with the craving, without the craving. But even if the craving with the wholesome thing, it's still wholesome thing with the craving too, right? So and then you are still. 为什么我们叫自量道? That's why we call that as the sampara in Sanskrit, you know, marga. It means the application. We usually translate as the path of application. 自量 is mean this is something that you need a resource. You must have the resource. So maybe you could argue that may more like having a wholesome mind carry with the craving. It's a resource for you too, right? For example, the resource for happiness, the resource of confidence, the resource of everything. Without that resource, how can you reach the final stage? You cannot. And that's why the Buddhist path put that as a resource. And when you're in a very advanced stage, you still look at this, actually, you carry with the craving too. Okay. But you cannot just from there to jump down. Then you complete, at least for the system or the path system, if you from the top you just jump down from there, usually you complete collapse, because a normal people would never understand. Like a kid would never understand what the top mathematical, you know, like genius mean.
So like, don't worry about craving so much.
As far as you had to worry that so far is that you commit the wrong action. But maybe in between you do understand a little how the craving trigger you, that you could have a more refined stage.
like sometimes like
This is what we call the 质量, the resource you need.
It's like sometimes you know, like for example, I really like having delicious food, and like I'm just like for every meal, like I go out of my way to like get really good food, and like but that's like driven by craving. So like should I still go get food and follow what I want to do, or should I like force myself not to, so that I'm not like being carried away by?
Okay, I give another extreme. Someone that really like food, however, because he think that I am a Buddhist and I'm a very advanced practitioner, I should not like the food, and then of course he could restrain not having the food, and he was very happy because he find that his success in doing that, his mind feel delight. And he feel like, oh, because of not having those wonderful food, I still feel very delight. I could do my meditation. That's fine, right? Then he's in a successful path. But what if not like that? There are lots of people like this I have seen already. Actually, they tell the lie themselves. They lie. Oh, no, I don't like the food. Actually, they like it. And lie again. And lie this and lie no more. And ultimately, he only can just, he doesn't want to tell people that actually I like the food, but I cannot eat. I like it because I think I'm good. Anyway, because I think I'm higher than you, I'm more advanced than you, so I could not eat this. It's in front of you, I don't want to eat that. And like, you know what I'm saying? All this lie, this is a wholesome or unwholesome. Yeah, and do you think this, when he carry all this unwholesome, even he doesn't enjoy the food, will make him better for his practice? Because his problem is lying all the time. And that's a very so slight, simple thing. No, I won't say simple. I will make my best to say. In Buddhist, that is a very 这叫什么基础啊? It's really, it's just very fundamental. If the people even could not make that part to admit, actually I lie, I just, I maybe now I try or whatever. He do not admit that, they're lying. So he only live in that lie. And of course, maybe he doesn't eat, really he doesn't eat, because that become a kind of concept, holding, thinking that that's I'm the one, and then if everybody know I don't enjoy food now, so I only live very suffer. I actually like it, sometimes I dream it, sometimes what. So partly is okay, but I'm saying that this is not a big offense, like in the life, right? So if you eat or not eating, that is not a big offense. But people, if they hold on the idea and then pretend, so his whole concept is, yes, to superficially you say that person is not eating, but actually his mind is lying. He doesn't solve the problem too. But he can solve the problem if you say, actually I'm lying. I do like it, but you can tell I still try. I like it, but I want to practice that, not eating that much now. I want to see how it goes. So that's with understanding, right? With the awareness. Or the other side, I just say he was really happy, he just content. Then that's definitely, if he doesn't do that, he would not have much more, especially if you practice seriously, then you don't have much, much thing to entice you, Entice, yeah. Okay.
So I can try to stop myself from eating, or I can try to go still like follow my heart to eat. Just the important thing is to.
Yeah, but if you have awareness, then and then so. And especially if you make the other people suffer, and then you feel very happy, and I'm so actually that happy is because you're proud still. So there's another unwholesome thing comes along. So. All right. Shall we continue the class? Okay. Okay. Shall next one? Can you read that? I will just put my. No battery now. 还有 battery 吗？这个没有 battery 了。
我们要看一下。
No。最后就叫你们的电池千万不要。Let me see, do we have to read the next one? The third argument, we have done that. Now, I mean, you understand what the three argument is about, right? No. Yes or no? Try to remember the three argument. Don't worry, I'm not asking the question now, but I just say that, try to remember that. I think we can jump. Okay, shall we jump on the page 139, the second paragraph, an ancient Buddhist text, the Milinda Bangha. Okay. Okay, let's continue our reading of the Foundation of Buddhism, part 2, after the break. So we jump to the page 139 on the second paragraph. An ancient Buddhist text, the Milinda Bangha, records the meeting of the Buddhist monk. So whose turn? Yeah.
Mine? Okay. An ancient Buddhist text, the Milinda Bangha, records the meeting of a Buddhist monk and the local Bactrian Greek king, Milinda or Mananda. The monk introduces himself as Nagasena, but then adds that this is just a convenient label, for in reality no person can be found. The king is puzzled and accuses the monk of talking nonsense. Nagasena then asks how the king came to this hermitage, and the king replies that he came in a chariot. But what is a chariot? Asks Nagasena. Is it the pole? Is it the axle? Is it the wheels, or the framework, or the yoke, or the reins? King Milinda is forced to admit that it is none of these. Nevertheless, he persists, it's not meaningless to talk of a chariot, for the term is used as a convenient label in dependence upon pole, axle, wheels, framework, yoke, reins, etc. Just so, responds Nagasena, it is not meaningless to talk of Nagasena, for terms such as Nagasena or being are used as convenient labels when all the relevant constituents, the five aggregates, are present. Yet, there is no such independent thing as Nagasena or a being.
All right. Okay. So next paragraph.
Language and the fact that experiences are somehow connected force us into thinking that there is an I apart from and behind changing experiences. Apart from the fact of experiences being connected. In reality, as we shall presently see, for Buddhist thought, there is only their connectedness, nothing besides that. The fact that experiences are casually connected is not to be explained by reference to an unchanging self that underlies experience, but by examining the nature of
causality. All right. Any comment? No. Yeah. So, okay, now since he mentioned the word connectedness, so and then maybe that's, I would say there's a new term, of course, but trying to explain maybe the best. I mean, since there are lots of ways to understand what the no-self, but one way of looking at it is find there's a connectedness. So, and so then I think the Rupert Gethin as a book author here is trying to explain more about the problem of person continuity self as a causal connectedness. Okay. I guess why don't we just? I don't think we should read the first paragraph. We come to page 140, And then the second paragraph.
Connectedness, the Pali system.
No, I said that this is a new term.
Oh, okay.
That's why I say it's more like a new term. We don't have the term connectedness causal like connectedness in Pali. But I say this is a new term that maybe best to understand when somebody trying to identity or trying to identify a notion of the self, you could understand as a kind of causal connectedness. Yeah, maybe I understand the term maybe called Itya Pajaya， 就是我们叫原生性。原生性 I think it might become at the term. I don't think he was translated from Pali. That this is a newly invented term. I think so. I'm not sure. But I didn't ask, I forgot. But I just want to say maybe the best, if there was something that carried a very similar idea that you could, it's maybe more like the 原生性. You know, when you talk about this 缘起, the dependent origination or dependent arising, that you can translate both ways. And then you also have to address the what we call the, actually 原生性 is translated dependent arising too. That's the reason why some people don't, 原生性 is the, how do you translate it in English? Maybe, I don't know. No, I'm not sure how to translate it already. I just know in Pali is
something like acquired.
It's not acquired too. 原生性 is.
They must have an origin. Therefore, it is acquired.
It's all right. I think we will come to that point maybe later. So let's just look at. Anyway, I say I don't think this is a translation word. Okay. The problem, because suddenly that, anyway, I think this is it's a new term. Say that self as a causal connectedness. Okay, connectedness. So why don't we just read the second paragraph? I guess. Yeah.
From
we have seen. Okay. Yeah.
We have seen how Buddhist thought criticizes the
breaks down.
Oh, okay.
The next paragraph. Yeah, the
okay.
Second paragraph on the book.
We
but
have seen
yeah.
how Buddhist thought breaks down an individual into 5 classes of physical and mental events known as skandhas or aggregates, but the list of 5 aggregates represents only one of various possible ways of analyzing the constituents of being. An alternative analysis sees the individual as comprising 12 spheres. And yeah,
it's all right. You could just read English, I think, because these are very common terms. Yeah.
Okay. The 6 senses, 5 physical senses, and the mind, and the 6 classes of object of those senses. A variation of this talks of 18 elements, 6 senses, 6 classes of sense object, and 6 classes of consciousness. For Buddhist thought, the physical and mental events that comprise a being and his or her experiences can be analyzed, grouped, and viewed from a number of different perspectives. But whatever the perspective, the concern is to show that physical and mental events occur in various relationships to each other. As such, physical and mental events or phenomena are termed dhammas. This is a term whose full discussion must be reserved for Chapter 7, but it can be defined in the present context as a ultimate event or reality that, in combination with other ultimate events or realities, constitutes the basis of the reality as a whole. The occurrence of physical and mental events is not just arbitrary or random. On the contrary, there is a deep and real relationship of causal connectiveness between events or phenomena, and it is the concern with the nature of this causal connectiveness that lies at the heart of Buddhist philosophy and which is seen as validating all Buddhist practice.
Okay. It looks like he drew that, seems like a Rupert here when he said the causal connectedness means the 缘起 or Itapajaya or 原生性 or 原始性, I don't know. It's all right. We just go further and see. So, shall we? A story has it. Yeah.
Story has it that the wanderer Sariputra's introduction to the teaching of the Buddha was in the form of a summary verse recited to him by the monk Aswatwajit. Of those dharmas.
What was the name? No. Aswatjit.
Oh, Aswatjit.
Oh. Some of the name you have to pronounce it correctly. This is so famous. Aswatjit. Yeah.
Of those dharmas which arise from a cause, the Tathagata has stated the cause and also the cessation. Such is the teaching of the great ascetic. Hearing this verse, Sariputra immediately gained a profound insight into the Dharma. But though he was not to become an awakened arhat for another fortnight, the verse thus encapsulates the Buddha's teaching and as such states the secret of the cessation of suffering, if we could but understand it. Later, Buddhist tradition regarded this verse as possessing an almost magical potency, and in ancient times throughout the Buddhist world, it was inscribed on bricks, metal plates, and images to make a protective amulet that might be worn or enshrined in stupas. Another succinct formula states the principle of causality as this existing that exists, this arising that arises, this not existing that does not exist, this ceasing that ceases. But the important statement of the Buddha's understanding of how causality operates is in terms of the 12 links of the chain of dependent arising.
Just read that, the dependent arising.
Conditioned by 1, ignorance, are 2, formations. Conditioned by formations is consciousness. Conditioned by consciousness is mind and body. Conditioned by mind and body are 6 senses. Conditioned by the 6 senses is sense contact. Conditioned by sense contact is feeling. Conditioned by feeling is craving. Conditioned by craving is grasping. Conditioned by grasping is becoming. Conditioned by becoming is birth. Conditioned by birth is old age and death. Grief, lamentation, pain, sorrow, and despair come into being. Thus is the arising of this whole mass of suffering.
All right, thank you. Any question? Or any comment?
A comment. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with this usage of causality. In the general theoretical sense, causality presupposes that on both sides of that arrow, A causes B, there were actual intrinsic existence, while here, dependent arising does not presupposes that both were actually intrinsic existence. So it's somewhat misleading.
Not necessarily, because actually the intrinsical, like the A and B intrinsic existence, somehow in a different school. For example, like in Saraswati school.
That would be a different story.
No, but then I mean, well, I just want to say, of course, that still language could, causality, even among the Buddhist school also, But I mean, you know, the word actually causality, it's the, I think what did he write the word causality? What is the Sanskrit? What is the Pali word? I think the 因果嘛. So maybe 因果 that the hedu, or what we call the hedu pala. So that's why some people don't like to translate that and just simply translate the cause and the fruit. But you know that also it's not English. It's very hard for people to understand that word.
Yeah.
And also the cause and fruit also anyway. So it's some people maybe not agree with that also. Yeah. But it's, I mean, translation is very, I mean, from one language to another language it's always based on first how you understand the original term mean, right? Yeah. And then we differentiate from that within. All right, I couldn't talk about that because, yeah, the causality here, the principle of causality is idam pratyayata, 就是此源性. But sometimes the idam pratyayata also carry the meaning of suchness is like that. You know,
okay.
Suchness is being conditioned, or you could say that mean, yeah. Or the suchness is the it's this suchness is the nature of the conditionality, something like that, literally. Yes.
I can keep reading.
No question? No comment? Yeah.
Let's say in Chinese. 刚才师父之前讲到那个缘起缘生，那个我查了一下，是不是就是讲流转门还灭门？之前。
Yeah. 是啊。No, we haven't talked about the 还灭门. We only talk about 扭转门. So yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, generally, 扭转门 this is I think this was more like that. Not necessarily. 扭转门 means something you still, you know, one connected to other, so something will be exist. And when you say 还灭门, that's usually it's referred to what is not exist and the other is not exist. Okay.
So it goes the other way.
Yeah, it goes the other way. One is what is exist, so that's why the others follow after. Yeah. So and then the 还灭门 is referred to mean one is ceasing, what is complete cease, and then the other is cease too. Yeah.
And also something that wasn't directly called out in the text, but maybe later on, is the fact that in this 12 link, if you break any one of the links, then that ends the creation of karma.
Yeah. Let me see where we're going to now. I'm surprised you don't have question. Maybe too confusing, I guess. Anyway, because this can be a very big topic. Good that, so I don't have to explain too much now. 142, okay, just why don't we just jump there? We can leave one paragraph and then we come to the next. According to Buddhist analysis, a person, you know.
According to Buddhist analysis, a person should be seen as 5 classes of physical and mental events that arise dependently at any given moment in time and also over a period of time. What this means then is that the causal connectedness of events is such that events occur in a certain quite specific clusters and patterns. From this perspective, a person is a series of clusters of events, physical and mental, occurring in a human pattern, as opposed to, say, the canine pattern of a dog. Furthermore, causal connectedness is such that the patterns in which events occur tend to reproduce themselves and so are relatively stable over a period of time. Thus, it does not happen that a man is a man one moment and a dog the next. Rather, over a period of time, a baby becomes a child, and a child an adult. So, although I am not now the same person as I was when I was 3 years old, in that there is no single part of me that is the same as it was, there is nevertheless a continuous causal connectedness between the clusters and pattern of physical and mental events that occurred 35 years ago, and those occurring now. The person that is me thus subsists not in some entity remaining constant for 35 years, but merely in the fact that certain clusters of physical and mental events are linked causally.
Okay, why don't we finish the next paragraph? Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah, in other words, yeah.
In other words, Buddhist thought understands change not in terms of the primary substantial essence remaining constant while its secondary qualities change, but solely in terms of the causal connectedness of different qualities. There is no primary substance remain constant. There is neither identity nor difference in the sequence of continuity. For if there were complete identity in sequence of continuity, there would be no curds produced from the milk. If there were complete difference, the owner of the milk would not own the curds. This is the cause with all conditions. Thanks.
All right, thank you. No question, right?
This is so hard. A question from the earlier, like the 3 methods of understanding. And the first method is like the only thing he's learned is like the body does not continue. But like, what about the self-awareness? Like in the first method, how does the self, or first argument, how does the self-awareness, like the conscious awareness, how does that not like continue?
Do you think your awareness are the same all the time?
It depends on like what.
So, and when you really try looking at your component of awareness, do you think it's always the same? And your awareness of conditionality are the same all the time?
Like the aware of like the self-awareness, like the aware of like me existing.
Of course, if you're aware you're existing, that you are holding the wheel of I already, so it doesn't apply to understand the impermanence already. So then that's there's no question already.
So like,
that part is the same.
This question is irrelevant already.
so, but like this,
yeah.
like the conscious awareness.
The consciousness.
I guess like the awareness of like, yes, I'm a completely different person, like personality, physical, everything I am now than I was when I was 3 years old. But like I wasn't living in like, you know, like my consciousness was continuous from that, not from like another person or a dog or something. That's still like that continuity still exists, is still there. Like, is that what this conscious awareness means? Like, I mean, to me, that's sort of like the sense of like self is this constant stream of like.
I know what you mean. I more or less understand. You mean that the very moment when you think about something, you understand something, that very moment understanding is the self. But that is changing. That moment is. So that's why we say here that as like the causal connectedness, it's changing, right? The last moment you understanding, because based on different things you understand that. Say that I see the happiness, and the next moment you see the happiness have the happiness. The other moment is that there's no happiness. Then you still have a different awareness or there, right?
That's the feelings. That's
not feelings, the awareness. You were just asking the awareness, the consciousness. The function of consciousness is the aware, to know, right? And then the quality of the know or the aware actually change all the time. Even it's been conditioned by different things too.
Like, I kind of feel like the object of like what you're aware of changes, but like you're sort of aware, like there's this awareness that's like.
Do you understand? Do you understand her question? Maybe our Sagara.
I
What remember you've done the insight meditation with Mama, right? What did you what have you done? When you pay attention to your body, what happened? When you put your awareness on your physical body, from moment to moment, what happened?
Sometimes changes, sometimes doesn't. When you
Okay. Yeah.
So like I understand like physical changes. I understand like your feelings change. I understand like your desire, like xin, like your like all those things can change. But like I was always aware of all these things, and that awareness, I sort of saw it as like the objects of your awareness, which is like whether you're happy or not happy, like this thing is hard, this thing is soft, like those are the object of the awareness, kind of remain, kind of always change, but like I'm always aware of, and that like being always aware of those things is not changing.
But at this moment you might aware of some information coming in through your ear, but next moment you're coming in from your eyes. And next moment you're coming in from your nose, and next moment from your tangible feelings, and next moment from something else. Right? The information is all coming in, but because of the conditions, you will pay attention to certain signals.
But when you go to sleep, you're not aware anymore.
No, it's still
Sometimes there is awareness. You can be aware.
Yeah, and then, well, even in Buddhism, recognize that when you don't aware anymore when you sleep. Yeah, let's say.
Yeah. It's changing still.
I mean, like, yeah, when you die, you also like, like, as long as like I'm awake and I'm aware, like I know, like
you don't have to be aware, but you still this consciousness by is still going on, right?
Like,
when I say don't be aware, mean you don't know you're wearing. So, for example, so.
Is this something that like is like something I will be able to see better during meditation? So like
what the thing?
That like the conscious awareness is constantly changing. Like, cause like right now it's hard for me to think like I remember the things that happened when I was 5, 10, 15. Like
actually I maybe easier to say this. Just put this awareness or consciousness as what you know you are. Okay. Okay. The last moment and this moment of what you know you are, do you think they are the same?
No.
Yeah. Before, when you come in the classroom and after you come, and now do you think you are the same of you?
No. But I still know I'm still my consciousness is still in this body, or my consciousness is still continuous from before.
But I don't think it's always in your body. For example, I'm sure that even while you're sitting here, sometimes you only listen to my sound, and then sometimes you forget my sound. You're just thinking about some subject, right? Sometimes you even forget about your thinking. You forget about what I'm talking, but you're only focusing on your cell phone, you're touching, your this and that. So which one is your consciousness?
Well, even in Malinda Pampa, there's a very good, I think, master or venerable Nagasena give a very vivid example. Like he asked the king if you can think of a place where it's far away, how fast? It's just like this, right? You remember? Have you read that? Anyway, so in that case, you cannot say the consciousness.
It's where? Is it consciousness? It's inside.
Like now, if I ask you to think about the place where you grow up, you must be able to think of something that far away, in terms of distance and time. So. So in that case, we cannot say the consciousness is within this body.
Right, it's not necessarily within the body. It's but it's still a continuous
But it's interesting to find out where you located. Where?
Yeah. Because given that condition,
It's okay. You don't know, but I mean, now at least you have a question already. So you always think there was a consciousness as somewhere, right?
Like I
So-
feel like it's the conscious of like self-aware. Like if you make a machine.
No, self-aware is one of the functional consciousness. Maybe best to put it this way.
Or like I guess like this came up when I was debating with my friend the other day. Like if you make like AI these days is like getting so popular. If you make a machine that can do all these things that we do, how do you know if it has a self-awareness or not? Like does it have a self-awareness or not? And like
They have respond.
yeah, like how do you
So
know
far.
what the responses are?
but in that case, we have to build a database containing all the pre-existing condition, and when something happens, and the reaction has to be from that database. For example, if I can build a mathematical algorithm to ask a robot to do certain things, so in that mathematical algorithm, I might have a set of parameters. And these parameters has to be based on pre-existing conditions where I can program into that.
So what we're saying is.
So what if that is outside that pre-existing conditions? Is whether the robot can react or not? I don't know.
So what we're saying is self-consciousness does not exist for robot as it does not exist for humans.
That's a complicated question. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but there were some people giving some other answer, saying that actually in the Buddhist text, the Buddha are not going to solve about that problem, even though now later on, in scholarly, as well as even very, I myself think in Tibetan Buddhism there's a tendency to think that was a problem Buddha tried to solve. I don't think the Buddha tried to solve that problem. For example, like trying to solve whether you need to identity, which consciousness is the so-called people taking it wrongly as a notion of self even. Yeah. That was not actually the Buddha the main purpose. The Buddha main purpose just telling you if you mistaken taking that the consciousness as the self, then you definitely have no way to be out of the problem. So I guess it's a different issue. The Buddha is not a scientist trying to find out. Even though it looks like meditation has lots of that kind of tendency, but that doesn't mean that Buddha asks you to find out, to locate where is the self. So that to solve the problem, whether the robot actually have the awareness or not as the human. Or maybe the human actually was a robot and then now become a human. So I guess that's what the question is about. And or perhaps even we will be so-called a human now is a robot, and also we've been programmed in the past or whatever. We don't know that, but I guess because the aim, that's why you still have to know. Yeah, you have a lot of even Mahayana Buddhism and also a lot of tendency because they have to answer certain questions. Like now you're asking questions, they answer, and later on those questions and those answers being collected in the Buddhist literature. But that not necessarily. I don't know. I'm not saying for 100% sure because I'm not Buddha, but at least from the sources we have from the early Buddhist sources and from the early Buddhist sources, the approach is very different. The Buddha was not very really. It's a sophisticated question. He did reply, but I still want to tell the people that looks like he knows also, or that he knows the answer, but he doesn't want to tell those things. Say that. Rather, he just want to say, as far as you identify that there's a self, and you think that's a self in such a way, that would not lead you to Nibbana. In other words, that will not help you to attain the out of the suffering. That's his main you could say his main focus. It was his main focus. So I mean, some other thing like you say in the science nowadays, and then can we really match together and where's awareness? Yeah, maybe you could find the answer, maybe not, but but still do not forget that was not really the main purpose of the Buddhism. I mean, at least from an early Buddhist perspective, definitely it's not the purpose. Yeah. So maybe helping you to understand something, but doesn't solve the ultimate question. That for a person, can you be out of the suffering? Okay, get it now? So it's all right. I mean, there's still discuss going on, and sometimes it takes time. But I think you're lucky enough that you can have a time to think about that. A lot of people study Buddhism never want to spend time to think about this question. They only think that I need to pray to something. I mean, and then they will save me all the time. And I say, why don't you study Buddhism? No, we don't need. We will ask them to help you. And I always say, it's good that you have the Buddha to help you. I mean, idealistically, I mean, when you have a Buddha to teach you. But accordingly, that you were born there, and if you have no wisdom, you have to wait billion years until the lotus open. I don't know why the people want to wait for that. And it said very clearly, if you have wisdom, even though if you're born to the Buddha land, you were born there, you are quicker, right? Because your wisdom is there, you know. And you will look at the time. So that's why we can live here for 80 years old. So in 80 years old, maybe have a better achievement in the long run, in the investment, right? So even at the last minute, even though you don't want to go, but you were born there in the Buddha land, and the Buddha, oh, you are the really wonderful person, you know, the lotus immediately open, you know. You don't have to wait for billion years, you know. I don't know why the people think it differently, you know. People just are craving for there's something good here. They don't see the long run. Good.
Sorry for the
Huh?
I'm sorry for all the
No, it's all right. So we know that. I somehow know how does it come from. It's okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, we don't have much. I think we can finish this paragraph. Is it?